have to understand specifically what you're dealing with. And without the specific understanding, there cannot be. You see, it's just like in a war. Until you understand the exact nature of the war, what is the war fundamentally about, you can't really design strategies and tactics. And so we are not going to be able, this is why if we look back, things look worse today than they did 50 years ago. You see, because we're not dealing with an analysis. We're dealing with, telling people not to kill each other. We're not dealing because we're not allowed to talk specifically about racism, white supremacy. My purpose as a psychiatrist in talking about this and making an analysis of what we are specifically dealing with is like any other thing in medicine, that you don't just deal with the symptoms of a problem. You have to wonder, well, what is the disease base that the symptoms are a reflection of? And what we have is blocking a discussion, any in-depth discussion of racism, white supremacy. I mean, I'm the only psychiatrist in the United States that has been talking about racism, white supremacy for 40 plus years. I'm the only psychiatrist in the world that is talking about it. Do you see? Because it's like there's a block on, we are not going to talk about, we can talk about the symptoms, we can have all kind of people come on TV and talk about the symptoms, but we are not going to talk about the problem of racism, white supremacy, because that's the behavior on the part of people who classify themselves as white. And so they have a wall of protection, a steel iron curtain around that specific discussion that gets into what is the white responsibility for the behavior activity that we see on the planet. But I say that those people who are sincerely interested in solving the problem, they have to go in depth to the analysis. And when the Attorney General said, are we a nation of cowards, being unable to talk about racism? And the answer to that has to be yes, we are a nation of cowards, but we can try to find the courage. If I could wave a magic wand, you see, you would have many people who classify themselves as white having the courage to talk about it, as well as black people and other groups of pigmented people being able to talk about this. But there are consequences to be paid, do you see, for going into this no man's land, or where this is not supposed to be discussed. But we are not going to be healthy, functional people, mentally healthy people, until this can take place.